Looks like you've been added to the close friends list. Welcome to the new and improved Close Friends List podcast, your weekly dose of laughs, gossip, and really whatever pops into our mind. As you know, the close friends list is always changing and always evolving, so make sure you stay a part of ours. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts and on social media at Close Friends List Pod. We're so excited to have you as a close friend. Now, on to the episode. Welcome back to the Close Friends List podcast, everyone. I'm Erin, that's Katie, and that is not Adia, everyone. She said, I'm gonna hang out with my man today instead of doing this podcast. So we love that for her. So today we have a special guest. Her name is Savannah. She's been on with us before, but this is the rebrand, baby. So welcome to the Close Friends List, Savannah.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you. Love being invited.
We love
having you.
I'm like so out of sorts. It's a Friday. This is not our normal like recording day. And I'm just like, what's happening? It's been a crazy past few weeks. So
yeah,
let's just like, it is what it is. Like, we're not gonna bring it down because
we can't talk about. Like,
yeah, no, we can't.
Let's put it out there.
We're not gonna talk about it, but we are all spiraling like inwardly. So
just know it exists.
Yeah. But today we decided to bring Savannah on because one, she's a good friend, but two, she is a hater at the core, as we described last time she was on, and she has a lot of opinions. And the three of us are in a book club called the Bad Book Club. So welcome to the first official face-to-face meeting of the Bad Book Club.
The Bad Book Club.
The Bad Book Club. How did we get started? I think can't even remember.
It started as a real, like, we really wanted it to be a book club, like,
yeah,
the real one. And
I
then
remember what the book was, but it was not good.
Well, one of the first ones was Wizard's Masquerade.
Yes,
I don't know if
I think
was the first one.
I feel like that was the first one because that's why it's our like
the first one.
picture now.
I feel like it might have been. And then the second book, I don't remember what the second one was. It might have been Arena Kent one. And we were just like, what are the odds we picked all these bad books? Like,
yeah. It was God of Malice. Yeah.
It just kept going from there where like every book ended up being kind of a bad book, you know?
And so then we were like, let's flip the script and let's take this for ourselves. Like, we're looking for the bad books that we will give the 1-star review to. Like, all of us, the first two books, like 1 star, 1 star. Yeah. And it was just like so funny because everywhere on like Book Talk and the internet was like, oh, these are such great books. Like, you'll love them. The chemistry, the da da da. And we all were like, huh?
The
this
chemistry
is insane.
Although I do great choice of words. Any book could be a bad book if you have the right people rooting for its downfall. Like, you know, like
that's true.
There have been like which one? Really I think one of the God of Malice. I think we were all like interested in reading. Like, we all finished it because it was like kind of addicting, but it wasn't good. You know, it's like
exactly.
I don't
it's
know
like
if
I need
would
to
have
know,
finished
but it's not good.
Yeah. Like, I needed the information, but and like the group chat was like, it's so bad, and it's like, okay, I need to know, like
I
so
have
bad?
to keep going. Yeah. But it's just crazy times. And so now, are we reading a bad book together? No, we actually read some pretty good books recently together. We'll get more
actually,
into that.
yes. Yeah. You're right. I was like, did we? We did.
We did.
We
did.
We did.
But
we knew about those going in because I'd read them, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I read them again.
Read it. You read it, and this was a book like Katie had suggested to like, was like, oh, you guys, like, I'm reading this. And we were like, huh? At the beginning of the year.
Well,
and then Savannah was like, I need something chaotic. Katie was like, how chaotic do you want? And then she started reading it, and then I got FOMO, so I started reading it. Flew through all 3 of the books, and I was like,
a week. I was like, damn.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is crazy.
I mean, I was being clowned the first time I read it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm updating Goodreads, I'm
Yeah.
embarrassed. Like, I'm being clowned on the podcast for talking about
Yeah.
it. Like, in person, I met another girl who's reading monster books, and we were clowning about it. And then, like, now it feels like there's so many
Yeah.
people on the boat. Like, I'm over it. Like, I'm having a good
Yeah.
time. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
saw
we're
I
vibing.
saw on Twitter the other day, like a friend of mine tweeted, she was like, my friend is reading this book, and it's the book that we're talking about. And she was like, she's too innocent for that. Like, she's not freaky enough for this book. She doesn't get it. And I was like, first of all,
She
how dare
doesn't
you
get
expose
it.
your friend like that on the internet?
Yeah.
Like, this is a public platform. But then two, I was like, wow, so lots of people are reading it. So like after I read it, like another friend was like, what is this book you're reading on your Goodreads? I said, first of all, I know it's another social media platform that I use, but like
Right.
don't snoop my
Like, we don't,
Goodreads
yeah, we
like
don't need to
that.
cross over like that. Like,
Indeed.
this is for me, not for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then
Low-key,
she
it's
was
a
like,
popular book because when
yeah.
I first started reading it, I had seen it already on Book Talk before because I'm on Monster Book Talk, and so I'd seen it and I was like, "I can't do it." But then I knew somebody, which we've already mentioned, Bree, read it, and she's like, "Katie,
Mhm.
you have to read it. It's so good." And so
Yeah.
but it's pretty popular,
It's all over
unfortunately.
Reddit. Like that fantasy romance Reddit, they talk
Yeah.
about this book all the time, and I'm like, I don't know about that one, but
And then once
clearly
you're
it's a
in,
But
you're
hit.
like,
this
"I
one,
get it."
I get
I
it. I
get
get
you.
it.
Yeah.
I
It's
get
just
it.
We
so
get it.
chaotic. But I was thinking we start off, this is not book related, but I just needed to know everyone's thoughts on the Wicked movie and the
Oh my
press
god.
tour that's happening. Because I feel like
Talk about a
once again,
left
another,
turn.
I know another left turn, but like
That's okay.
something that like we all also relate in is that we all love musicals. So it's like, here's this. So
I don't know. My sister
Sav,
saw it. She saw
oh, the
like
movie
an early,
already.
yeah, because she works
Oh,
at like, I don't know where the hell she works, but they got like a free viewing or whatever. And she was like, it was so good, Savannah. It was the best movie
it,
I've ever seen. I'm like, this seems like Stan talk, so I don't know if I trust that opinion,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Cynthia can sing, so I feel
Yeah.
like even if the movie itself sucks, the songs will be good.
Yeah. And what I've
Yeah, I
heard
can see
from
that.
like the full like songs that they've been like releasing on and videos and stuff, like I'm like, okay, this doesn't sound bad.
Yeah,
Like
this sounds terrible.
I haven't heard anything that's like so awful that I'm like, oh my gosh. Like sometimes like
Yeah.
a couple months ago they were releasing like snippets of like Cynthia's Defying Gravity or like
Oh god.
Jonathan's like Dancing Through Life. And I was like, what are we
Yeah, that
doing? Like,
Target
this is
commercial.
insane.
literally.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was like, this is
It's
insane. But then they clipped it up and like cut it up. And so it was like not what it actually sounded like, which we now
I'm
Yeah.
have.
just
And I was
not
like, oh,
understanding how
okay.
it's a 2.5 hour movie. I'm just like, I don't really
The
That's the one.
musical is 2.5
And
like
hours. So like,
knowing the
it's
plot of the
part
musical.
1.
Yeah, so I'm not
what did you
understanding how
add?
much dialogue,
Yeah.
but she told me that there's no, I mean, like, spoiler, I guess, not really, you can Google it. There's like, they didn't add any like original songs in the first part. So I'm like, why the
What
hell
are
is it
we
2.5 hours?
Yeah.
They're really just diving deep into like
But it's like, I don't need to know all the, I don't care.
the
Because
musical's
like
enough.
knowing the
Like, that's
lore of the
enough
book, it's
time.
like too
Yeah.
much. It's too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, well,
I do feel like they should have never made it a two-part situation because we don't
I
really
Absolutely.
agree.
have many other movie musicals that are doing that. I mean, like, they're all packed in, you know what I mean? And like you said, the original is
Exactly.
already 2.5 hours, so, like, what are we
I just feel like if
doing?
Les Mis was able to
You know?
accomplish this with
That's what I'm
one movie,
saying.
and Les Mis is a long ass show, I'm not
Long.
really
And
understanding
and
how
when I said
Wicked.
the movie musicals, that's the first one that came to mind
No,
is like,
mine
I'm
too.
"Okay,
Mine
this
like,
is like
too.
an 800-page book, like, what are we
and they managed
Yeah.
to
doing?"
get it done, and they only cut
Uh,
like a
not
handful of
much.
songs. Yeah, not
They
they
Yeah.
didn't cut
handful
that
of songs
much.
and then they added songs. So I'm
Yeah, I'm like,
like,
they had time to add songs, but you
they
guys have made half of a musical this almost
Yeah.
the same amount of time as Les Mis. That's crazy.
this
Because the
yeah.
issue I'm running into is we talked about Wicked. Erin and I talked about it earlier this year in our musical episode. And it's like I have been waiting for this movie for like
Yeah.
I feel like we've been
Like
talking
10
about
years,
it for
a
fucking
decade.
ever.
Literally.
And not because I'm like looking forward to, like, I am looking forward to it, but like I feel like they've been talking about it for so long with the whole Ariana and Ethan Slater thing, and then with all of this promo. It's
been
like
dragging, and it's gonna go for a whole nother
promoing
year
for 8 months. Well, and then part 2, we're gonna get this all over again. Like, what are
Exactly.
I
we?
don't see how it's sustained. I don't really know what else
Yeah.
they can talk about. Like, I can't watch them.
That's
And,
what I'm
you know, I
saying.
complain about them crying in interviews, but then I click on every single one. So I'm like,
Exactly.
I'm
No,
the-
I
I'm the
stay
problem.
there.
But
I
but it's
stay
like-
looking at the clip,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Wait, I was
"Oh,
watching
this
one
girl's
before we
crying again."
joined.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Her on Fallon, I'm like, oh, let me watch this. Why? Why am I watching this? I don't know.
Literally.
Oh my God.
Definitely. Well, and I don't know. I would love to know if your sister thought, like, okay, my issue with all the promo is like it's all pink and green and we love that, but like, what are these stills we're getting? There's no color in these photos. Like, Wizard of Oz
it looks
was
like CGI, but
Technicolor.
apparently it's like
Yeah.
apparently it's not that much CGI. Like, they had a lot of like practical effects, but I'm like, why does this movie look straight up CGI'd though?
Yeah.
Well, and it's all
like
like
the
what is the
forest
budget?
scene.
and
The budget's
like,
crazy because they have.
What is the budget?
I got like an email
What
from
is
like,
the
you know, like
promo budget?
those Bomba socks. They have pink and green Bomba socks. I'm like, we're collabing with sock companies. I don't understand. Like, they got to collab with everybody.
They have Stanley cups, like the
They had
Stanley
pink and
cups.
green.
Like,
they put up pink and green Max.
yeah, they put.
I'm
First
like,
of all, the Arc de France or whatever, like that arc was pink and green for Wicked. I was like, are we joking? How are they getting a massive like Parisian?
All I'm saying is this movie better literally scout me, and we already have tickets for like Black Friday, and I want to be bald when I come out of the theater because I've had to hear about this movie for the entire year, and like,
I just know you're not gonna be. That's the thing.
No, it's gonna be a letdown.
And, yeah, it is.
I don't think it's gonna be worse than like. I mean, I don't know. What was the last good musical?
Yeah.
Les Mis wasn't even
Mean
bad,
Girls
but it wasn't good
was
either.
rough.
I didn't watch Mean Girls because I heard the music and I was pissed. I was like, I can't. They've messed up the music. I can't.
You played having this girl as Katie Heron. I was like, why are we doing this? Like,
that's the gag.
What are we talking about?
Was not the one. Like, I feel like they made the movie for Renee Rapp, but then they did nothing else with that. Like, they just left her out to dry because they took away Chris Briney can't fucking sing. He didn't want to sing. Then you got Angry Rice over here who can't sing. It's like, what are we?
It's just like, why?
Yeah.
They also like slowed down. Look, Mean Girls the musical like consumed me when that music, like when it came out as like all I listened to for an entire summer.
I love Mean Girls.
How do you make the best songs boring? I'm like, Revenge Party at like 1 speed. I'm like, what's happening?
I'm like, hello.
The Sexy song. I'm like, okay, Sexy was like cute, I guess, but like, not. I don't know. I didn't watch it, and maybe I should watch it before I hate on it. But it was going downhill when the musical, like when the trailer only had Olivia Rodrigo songs in it. I was like, that's a red flag. You're not even playing songs from the musical.
Literally. Literally.
Well, you know, I feel like that's becoming a thing these days where, because think about like Wonka was also a musical, but they did not promote it as a musical.
I had no idea until you said that. I was like, that's
I low-key want to see that. And I just
low-key, I was sat in the theater.
That one clip that like they kept where he was going like this. Like that
my name is Willy Wonka. Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. And they're making like a Wonka 2. Didn't need it, but I'll probably watch it anyways.
It made money. I mean, it wasn't the worst movie. I'll give him that. Like, for Timothée Chalamet, he did better than I expected. But
I'm like, is he broke?
Like,
because he's doing so many random.
He's doing so much.
Does he need to work this bad?
But Dune made so much money. Both of them.
I'm like, there's no reason why he's like this booked.
Yeah,
and he does a bunch of singing movies and he can't really sing. So I'm like, what's that about?
Well, okay, the Bob Dylan movie is going to be a brutal time. I think I saw the trailer and I'm like, it's rough out here for him.
I saw the trailer and it literally looked like a parody movie. I was like, is this the real trailer?
And like, I'll be sad for him and Elle Fanning, but like, that's it. Like, that's rough. But yeah, he's doing a lot of random stuff right now. I think he wants to. I think he wants to have like a things going on.
Like wants to be like quirky, you know? And I'm like, what are you doing?
Chaotic
like
filmography. You're like, okay, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
Making more money than me.
That. Like, forget a war
you know
movie.
What? Exactly.
Like, whatever.
Well, and
what
like,
am I complaining about?
Like, stay away from World War II. Stay away from, like, you know what I mean? Like,
no war movies, please, God. I just want to see him like crying. Like, we have a movie where he's sad again. Like, he's so good at crying. Like in Dune, he was just like so serious. I'm like, I love it. Just like the shots of his face. I'm like, yes, this is all I want. Just silent, pan in on his face, one single tear. I'd be like, standing ovation. Yes.
You're like, 5 stars for me.
Love it. Film of the year.
Yeah, we can't talk about it too long because I'll talk about it too much. But
I know, it's like, we are no.
I got a lot of thoughts about Dune, but yeah, back to Wicked. Yeah, I don't know. I just need it to be over. That's the thing, you know. Like I just need the movie to be out,
and it just won't be, which is the worst part.
yeah, exactly. We're gonna get this forever.
It's like, how many more interviews can they talk about? I don't.
Well, and okay, I am low-key tired of seeing them because this is gonna sound so wrong, but I know you guys are thinking it. They look sick. They sick.
Do. Oh my god, I saw this tweet and it was like 2 pictures of them like before Wicked and after.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that.
Like a bad angle, but they look crazy.
And I was like, I'm like, what are their necks doing? I was like, please, like, I know they're thin, but like, what is happening?
They definitely have to be on drugs. I'm sorry.
Both of them were thin before, but now it's like scary. Like we're seeing shoulder blade bones.
Yeah,
like, I'm just like,
are they both petite? They all, and it's like the nails and like the eyebrows and like
it's everything.
They look crazy. I'm like, I'm begging Ariana to dye her hair back brown, please, God.
Or at least, I don't want to see eyebrows. Like at least the
make her eyebrows normal color. She needs to get her ponytail back. I need her to start appropriating again because I cannot look at her. She looks like Skeletor. Like, it's killing me.
Yeah, she does.
I appreciate the blonde for the movie. However, we're running it into the ground. Like it's she's washed out. I feel bad.
Movie for like 3 years at this point. Like
exactly. And I mean, it washed out all of her features. She looks so like one-dimensional. I feel like she needs some color.
She needs
back.
dark hair. Cynthia's a little flawed. I can't defend Cynthia, but you know.
If she got her literally cannot defend Cynthia at all.
It's like I never thought about her this much, but I remember like actively hating her when the Area movie came out because like she can't act. This is my main beef with the Wicked movie. I've never seen Cynthia in anything where I thought she was a good actress, like on film, like on the stage. Yeah, but I'm like,
it is different.
She was terrible in the Area movie. And I'm like, and then I was like, she got an Oscar nom. Then I was like, oh, it's the COVID year. That tracks.
Because there was nothing released, pretty much.
Let's be serious. Let's be serious. Yeah. So, but my sister, let me find the exact words. I'm gonna say it in her voice because I was really, Sydney? This is how you feel.
I feel bad for Cynthia. I feel like she's going through it because, like, I know you guys saw where she posted like the person who changed the poster to like be more like Broadway.
I do not feel bad for her at all.
And it's like, well, that's what like I feel bad because like I'm sure other people are putting her through the ringer, but it's like, what was that for? You know what I mean? And she comes on the carpet and says posters, it was a human moment. It's like, girl, but like it was not meant to shade you. It was meant to like pay homage. Like
And I will say that like the people were being a little like butthurt over the poster. Like it very clearly was not supposed to be the theater poster. But I don't know if she needed to like search her name and then reply. And then apparently she's got like a well-known burner account where she like she like searches her name on Twitter and like fights with people. And I'm just like, I feel like at this point in your career, maybe you just don't need to be on Twitter. Like, I mean, why don't you not have like you shouldn't have
like why don't you have people for that? Like who
and to be like actively looking is different than stumbling upon too. Like having a
you're searching your
account
name
is like
because like I'm not even like adding you and you're fighting with me. Literally. My girl.
That's rough.
Honestly.
Please. Good luck to her.
She's like, it's erasing me. I was like, girl,
she's not getting any fans.
Still
and it's
right
like,
there. What are we talking about?
The people who don't know that she can sing, I can see why they're salty because it's like, it's like, I mean, she's gonna sing the house down, but
like, I'll never hate on her for her singing. Like, she's out of this world. Like, that's
for sure.
But
that's true. But I was like, the personality. I'm like, please,
then I'm like, is it because she's British? I'm like, maybe it's like a British thing.
She needs like a different manager, I think, because then it's like the little things, right? Like the other day she said something that was like, I'm really glad it was Ariana because it was definitely not those other two I was interviewing with. And it's like, that sounds bad. You know what I mean? But it's like,
bad.
Little.
And then I realized that when she said that, the person she was talking about, of course I went on the deep dive. The girl who played Regina George in Mean Girls, like on Broadway, had like a public crash out on IG Live when she didn't get cast.
I saw this.
Oh my god!
She was like crying. She was like, "Well, you know, it's not fair that real Broadway actresses didn't get to audition for this role." And I'm like, girl. So like, Cynthia was being shady, but also clearly they're all crazy.
Yeah, because like looking from the
They're all
outside,
nuts.
like not knowing the
Yeah.
tea, like that, like people ran with that
That looks
sentence.
bad.
It's like, but then like
That looks
when
very
you
bad.
look into it, you're like, okay,
You're like, oh,
you're like,
well,
she was
okay,
kind of
sure.
right. Yeah.
I saw
People
this
are
one
so
tweet
mad.
today. Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw this one tweet today of a video of Cynthia and Ariana, and they were like, someone fashion related was like
Oh my God,
asking
I
them
saw that
questions.
please.
I think I sent it to you, and then she was like,
That's
"Well,
not about
that's not a
fashion.
fashion question."
Yeah.
So, and I was, and she was, I was
I'm
like,
like, girl, I'm like,
it's
please don't put
not
me in a
like
room with them.
discrimination anywhere that you're saying. Like she was saying something, and I was like, "Girl, what?" It's just like
People on
she
TikTok
needs to be
hasn't been
media
media
trained.
trained. Yeah, she has not
Yes.
been media
exactly.
trained, and you could tell.
As big of a movie as this is, too, like,
You would think.
You
Well,
would
you
think.
see,
they
like,
clearly
you
have $1
see
billion
Ariana.
to spend.
First of all, yeah,
Exactly.
you see
Like-
Ariana. She's like, "Oh yes, it's lovely. Like we love this." And then Cynthia's like, "Well, that's not a fashion question." And then Ariana's like, "Oh," and I was
Ariana
like,
has that children's TV training
"She
where
does.
she can't say
Yes.
anything
She's been media
Yes.
trained since birth." So
to
I'm
hell and
like,
back. So
I'm like,
like,
please
that's
just
so
take
lovely.
something.
That's so beautiful. Like, please, girl.
It
I
is
just need them
wild
both
see
to
the
like take a break.
difference.
Yeah,
That's the thing. I can't wait for the movie to drop and the press tour to be over because, like, we still have
please.
another 2 weeks of this until the movie drops. Like, that's the
insane.
tea.
My sister's
Once it-
convinced that they're gonna get Oscar nominations, and I'm just like,
I know.
I feel like you're in a delulu. I mean, I could see it for Golden Globes. I see
I
it.
could see it for
I see it. I
Goldens.
see it for Globes.
Yeah,
I'm Oscar. I'm like, there's no original songs. So what reason would they have to
exactly.
be
Because they're
at
definitely
the
not doing
Oscars?
best supporting,
Well, I
best
forgot.
actress. Like,
Actually,
there's
remember
no
when
way.
they made that stupid category for Barbie, so they might be at the Oscars.
Yeah, but not for like they're not going to be in the big ones, the big leagues. You know, they're not going
You're
to
right.
be.
You're right.
Like, they want like, I think
We
Ariana
hope.
wants this to be her, like, best actress moment, but it's like, "Girl, it's not this is not the role for that." You know, like, it's just not gonna happen.
This is not.
It's just
It's
not.
not.
And
It's not.
but yeah, let's get you into the Globes. Like, we can do that. We can
We
make
can
that
do that.
happen
I can
for you.
support that. I can support that. Oscar. I mean,
It's
good
not your
luck to
year.
you.
Yeah.
I'll delete my
It's not
accounts if it
your
comes true. I don't think it will, but if it does, I'll
I'll
eat
just
my
do it.
words. You know, that's fine. That's fine. But we'll
We'll
see.
be like, "Remember this time you said no."
Will
Create a
Twitter even
Cynthia fan
exist by
account,
then?
please.
TBD. TBD.
I'm
We
off
don't
that
know.
app.
On that note, so book talk. No,
But talk spiraling as well.
so good. So
Book Talk is
what?
always spiraling is the thing. Like, there's
Honestly,
always something happening on Book Talk. Like, just
honestly,
always.
I'm like
Never
trying to think
anything
of
good.
like one thing that's happening like right now that's so crazy. I can't
Well, like
remember.
those girls that are like Donald Trump supporters that are like only
Oh
talking about
yes,
contemporary romance and shit, and they're like, "You found the
I'm
right
like,
place because we love morally
yeah.
great men."
I was
like, you
like,
guys
"What do you?"
are giving
They were like, "I
weirdo.
thought we were voting for morally
I'm
gray
like,
men." I
also,
said,
that just proves
"Huh?"
the point that you don't know what morally gray means because that's not what's happening
That's
here.
yeah.
And
He's
that's
not
also
morally
not what's
gray
happening in
anywhere.
your contemporary romance. They're also not morally gray. So you're
Yeah.
wrong both times. There's
Yeah,
no
you just don't
right.
get it.
You know, that is such a good point. The way morally gray is so overly used on every platform, it's like these guys are straight up villains. Like, let's put
Right.
that
They're
out
Yeah.
there. This is not a
They're
gray
not
bad
morally
guys.
gray
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
at
Like,
all.
bad
thinking
guys.
about, for example, like the Rena Kent books, right? Like, those guys are not morally gray, and
They're
you're
just
calling
bad
them
people.
they're
They're
just
just
not.
villains.
They're
Yeah,
just
they're villains, and it's fine.
psychopaths,
It's fine.
and
Like,
this
let's call it
girl
what
is
it
like,
is.
Be
"Oh, I
honest.
love him." You know, like, what are we talking about? You know,
Be honest with yourself.
The
Like,
fact that
look
there's like 13 of
inside.
those books, that's crazy.
I mean,
there's
there's like
more.
40
I'm about to look right now.
because
No,
they have
she
the
has
legacy
like the
series.
parent ones. Yeah, she has
Yeah.
like the 5 that we like saw, and then she has
Yeah.
like all these spin-offs with like
Yeah.
the
And
parents
it's
and everything.
576 pages.
That's the
That's
gag.
crazy.
So,
600 pages of
okay.
nonsense.
So the tea,
Mhm.
Savannah, is that I've actually read 3 of them now because
Yeah.
Erin
'cause I
got
need
you. She got
The
you.
yeah, exactly.
first
So low-key, I
First of
read
all,
them
I've
first,
only read
but
2. I know, I was like,
Oh my
"That girl
god.
read him first, please." And she was like, "Erin,
but
I need you to read this one." I
but the
said,
thing
"Okay."
is, I was looking for something that I didn't have to think about, right? So I was like,
Yeah.
I know what I'm getting into, and I know I'm gonna hate it, and that's okay. But the way 3 books, right? I've read 3 of them, every single one is the same exact book. Like, what
same
are
copy
we?
paste, copy paste.
Copy
Like
paste
that's
with
how
a
Miss
different
Kent.
name.
That's how
Yes!
Miss Kent like
Terrible.
could
No
make
wonder
40
she has 30
books.
books. Makes sense.
Like
And
that's
why they're all
how.
long, because they're all the same fucking plot. So it's like she's just
Exactly.
literally changing names
Oh
and
my
changing
Exactly.
God.
some
And then just
details.
like putting like a side character here and being like, oh,
Exactly.
Glendon and Creighton are just like blah blah blah.
The
And
side
you're like,
characters, there's so many of them that you can't even remember their names. I'm like, what's the friend's name? I
exactly.
have zero. I barely remember the main character's name.
That's
Her name was
real.
like Glenn something.
Yeah,
A mess.
Glendon. Yeah.
Ugh.
I know, it's rough. And this is the other issue with those books in particular, because there are those parent chapters, but it's because the parent books came first. But they're
Yeah.
all such like fucking wimps in the parent chapters. It's just the husbands being like, and I love my wife so much. And it's like, no wonder your kids grew up to be crazy. Like
Literally.
Yes.
And he's like, well, it's because the parent books are again copy paste like the children's books. So like I'm then imagining like reading the parent book and being like, oh, they're doing this and that's why he's saying this. And I'm like, first of all, I don't want to think of your parents like that.
No,
People
for
in this
sure.
book. And then they're like, I'm gonna take my wife up. I'm like, stop, skip, stop yourself. Like,
Yuck.
I don't need to be watching
Ew.
this.
I feel
Exactly.
like I've told you guys before, I kind of hate in an interconnected standalone when the other couple that I've already read comes back. Like
I do too.
Once we're done with the
I'm
book,
like,
I'm
please
done with the
don't
book.
show up
Like,
anymore. I don't need you to show
exactly.
up in the next story. And
Thank
half the
you.
time they
So
show up so much. That happened fucking
yes.
wild. They showed up so much that I was like, you might as well just have written a sequel, because
Yeah.
an actual sequel with them, because
Yeah.
they're in 50% of this book. I
That's
don't care about them
crazy.
anymore.
It's like, we're happy. Like, you made it. We don't need to see.
Yeah.
So
We don't need to
that
hear
is
from you
my
anymore.
exactly.
Exactly.
That's my like big issue with a lot of these books. Like, I hate a legacy series like Elle Kennedy. I saw you reading The Graham Effect, Erin, and it's like I will never a legacy series pisses me off because it forces not just the friend group that's a happily ever after, but all these other extraneous like
Yeah.
parents and like whoever.
Random
It's like
characters.
I don't
First of all,
care. You guys
I'm
ended up together and that's enough. Like that's all I needed.
First of all, regarding the Graham Effect, I'm upset that I'm so tuned into it because
I can't even talk about it.
it
What's
literally
the
like
sport? Let's see.
it's hockey.
There's so
And
many
so
of them. I'm just like, I can't keep track.
I was like
It's,
reading it and I was like, okay, but then I was like, oh
Did
wait,
you
go back. What's happening? And I was like,
girl,
I'm tuned
did you read
in
the deal,
too.
Savannah? Like the deal or the score or
No,
that
but
whole
I see them
series?
everywhere. That's why I'm just like, what
Yeah.
series is this?
I don't recommend it. But it's the off-campus series. But the Graham Effect is the deal. Hannah and Garrett's daughter goes to
Oh
college.
God.
So it's like, what are we?
I already like
Yes.
don't even care when they have
That's
children in the book to begin with. I don't need to read about them being stuff.
Exactly. And also I heard that, okay, I'm not gonna read it because again, I hate a legacy series. I heard she slandered Garrett's name in that book, like he didn't want a kid or whatever. And it's like, I want to just end up with them being happy. I don't want to know that you
Wait,
were
in which
a
book?
Yeah, I don't
villain.
need to know. You're
Yeah,
like, which
the
one?
Graham Effect. Like I guess when Hannah got
There's
pregnant,
like
he was like,
oh no, they don't talk about that in the book. But
Book Talk said they did, so maybe it's coming. I don't know, but
that would be crazy because anyway.
Either way, I don't want to know. Like, you guys had your book, you had your time. Let's just like call it a day.
He's
I
like
don't need
the
to hear about
dad
your
is like
kid.
barely in the book.
Yeah, I'm
Because
not here for I can't do it.
yeah, he's just like they're just like, oh, he's a famous hockey player, and then the like now main boy is like, oh, he was picking kids or picking like leaders for this camp, blah blah blah, and I want to become a world famous hockey player too. Anyway, he's like barely in that book, so that's crazy.
Yeah, but
anyway, I'm tuned into the Graham Effect, everyone. Like
The Graham Effect.
that is, I didn't know it was like a legacy series, but like
yeah, everybody's talking shit about it, and I'm like, I can't. I already hated the first two.
Interesting.
Or did I read 3 of them? I don't know. They're like
I just
giving
need to find a really good sport.
They're giving misogyny. They're giving like it's just all stuff that I'm not a fan of, and I'm just like, I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay not reading that. Like, I don't know. They're just like something about them.
I obviously haven't read the like first few, but like this one I wasn't like giving.
The other thing that bothers me is her books, they are different, but they feel copy paste because they are all white. And so it's like
that's fair.
I'm like, can't keep track of who's who. You're like, what are these people?
You're like, wait.
They all look the same.
Yeah,
I
no,
can't tell
literally.
anyone apart.
I'm like, I get it because it's like hockey, right? So like, okay, generally that's a white sport, or like that's the problem with whatever. But it's too much in a book because like I already don't know the characters, and you are introducing 8 of them because you want to make 5 books and you want to have them all be friends, and that's fine. But I can't keep track of who is who.
Well, it's like in this book they have like 2 hockey clubs. Like one hockey club got like stopped, so they have to join this other hockey club, and then they keep saying like white men's names, and I'm just like, I don't know.
You're like, who are we
It's like,
talking
what are you
about?
saying?
This is why I don't pay attention to. I'm like, if it's a side character, I don't need to learn their name because
I know. I'm like,
this has
anyway.
I can barely keep the main people's names together.
There was one man who was giving like bisexual energy, and I was like, okay, like Beckett, I know you, but then the rest I was like, anyway.
So you're like, oh.
I was like, okay, what's happening here? But
no, that is so real. It's like you'll get a book and I'll learn about you then, and we'll just call it a day.
Exactly. Like I'll see you then.
Yeah, here we go.
Maybe if we make it that far.
But I feel like this is getting to, we need to talk about the epidemic that is like people are just writing books based on tropes now. Like that is what this is all turning into.
Let me
like,
find the name of this book that I read, and it was like, this is maybe the worst book that I've ever read in my life. I'm like, I don't understand how it got published. It literally was just tropes in a trench coat.
Well, the gag is like fiction books.
They're so bad. I'm like, I don't understand.
Publishing them, but then like I work in the nonfiction world, and it's like those books are so hard to get published. Like I see like
they
all
have to
these
make sense.
Exactly, like they have to, and the like editors are coming for them, the like everything, their agents and whatever. But I'm like, where are these for the fiction books? Like,
and then when you like go to the reviews and the first one you see is like 5 stars, you're like, there's no way. Like there's no
they're
way
like 5 stars. We're sent this art copy, blah blah blah. I'm like, so you got
this book,
you got a free book, and now you're giving it 5 stars.
Like, if you ask a single question and the entire plot of the story stops making sense, it's like, and then the trope already doesn't really make sense because it's barely giving what it's supposed to give. You're like, I need something.
Yes. I was reading something. What was I reading? Oh, okay. You guys don't clown me. I started King of Wrath because I was like, I need something.
I saw that.
Like...
I saw that on your Goodreads.
Okay. I DNF'd it, obviously.
I saw that.
But I was like, I think she wanted it to be enemies to lovers, but it's like, you guys are just like straight up strangers to lovers. Like, you guys are not enemies.
You're just like that's the gag with half of these enemies to lovers. They're just strangers, and they're like good off on a bad foot, but it's not like enemies. I'm talking like
exactly. They were really harping on that in King of Wrath, where I guess like her dad was like his enemy, and he's like, she's the enemy's daughter, and it's like, she's not. First of all, like, let's
hardly
whatever.
I read about that recently, and they were like enemies allegedly. Well, the one guy's family killed the other guy's mom, apparently, but in the first chapter they're hooking up, and they're like, I didn't know what he looked like. You didn't know what your mom's killer looked like?
Right.
I'm like, so you're enemies, but they have sex
just
every
have
chapter.
an idea.
So I'm like, I'm not really understanding how you're
enemy.
Where's the enemy? The enemy's on the room with us. They're having hate sex. I'm like, I guess that makes me an enemy. Maybe. I'm not really sure. I'm confused.
Even hate sex is not like an enemy situation. It's like, you guys are clearly just like friends with benefits who don't get
into
along.
each other.
Like, exactly.
You're not gonna get with someone that you literally hate. Like, and if you hate them, can I get like some? Can I get some pages of dialogue, like content where you're where you're understanding each other? Like, it's the next chapter, and you've been together for 3 months. Like, I'm confused. Did I skip something? I'm like, flipping back and forth. Like, am I?
Like, where'd the page go? What?
We're missing pages. Like, what?
I DNF'd this book because like they were trying to be friends with benefits, but like they never established it. And then all of a sudden, like they've been hooking up since like 30% of the book. And they're like, by 70%, she's like, let's just be friends with benefits. And he's like, but I love you. It's like, we're 70% in. Like,
at this point, you're basically you've been
literally
together the whole story.
Exactly,
you're now
exactly. Like, I need people to like be more serious and be more for real about what's going on in like the publishing sphere. Why are we calling all these things enemies? Why are we pretending that you're not just like actually dating? What are we like? I need you to be so for real right now.
Because the people in the comments will be like, is it spicy? And that's just all, as long as it's spicy. But then I'm at the point where at this point, it's making me cringe. Like I can't even can't even like
I'm like, okay,
it's like
here we are.
grossing me out. I'm like, I don't know that I want to read anymore romance scenes. I really don't.
I DNF 2 contemporary romances in 3 days, so I think like I'm just done with them. Like I think
you're over it, yeah.
You know, I've always said I'm a monster girl, but you know, honestly, they at least get me like there's a plot usually, there's an actual reason for some of these, like they're not really enemies, but like, you know, there's like at least
this is how I feel with fantasy romance. I'm like, I think I just need to take a break because every single one is getting worse and worse, and I'm like, I'm not really understanding.
Yeah.
Like, let me read a book where there's no romance at all. Maybe I need to cleanse my palate.
You know, it honestly it makes a lot of the difference. When I read Gideon the Ninth, I was like, I needed this. Like
just I don't want to see romance at all at this point. Like, please.
I don't want to.
And then you're gonna see me updating tonight, reading One Watch.
I know. I'll be
whatever.
Like, there's something to be said about like not needing a brain cell to read. You know, like sometimes you just need like a palate cleanser and just not think. But it's rough out here, that's for sure. It really everything's being published, and I just don't get it. And I
saw 3 Hermione fics being published. I was like, wow.
Yeah,
and I read them all, so that means I need to read the books because I already know what the plot of the story is going to be. Clearly,
well, yeah, they're not going to cut out that much for like they might even leave it all.
I realized I was like, oh, the main guy on the cover has white hair, and I was like, how do I miss this when it's Raylo? I've been duped by so many Raylo books. I'm like, it's insane the amount of books that I read. Then I get to the reviews, and it's like, this is Raylo. I'm like, oh,
I need to know. You watched those movies?
I did. And honestly,
did you get the Raylo at all? Like I did. I
don't think. I think in the first one, well, that's because it doesn't exist. In the first one, it's like,
but like for all of these,
no Raylo, but like the second one, you can tell that like they were very clearly scrolling on Reddit to get plot points because there's no reason.
Yeah,
like there's no romance to be seen at all. But then in the third one, they have them kissing, and I'm just like,
yes.
There's zero reason why she would even like, and if they would have spent more time maybe like building up their relationship, I could be like, oh, I see it. But it's like he literally comes out of the gate killing people, so I'm like,
hello.
Because I've been got by some Raylo books because you don't know until, well, for some of them, right? Like
some of them are like so thinly veiled, but some of them just like you can't tell. Then you're just like,
yeah, because I think was it Bride wasn't, but there was another one that I read that I was like, this is Raylo, like, but so then I watched the movies after reading a couple of the books. I mean, I know they're all like fanfics, so it's obviously not, but I was expecting a lot more in the movie, and
it's like zero romance in these movies. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
The way
people literally made it up.
They're not even on the screen at the same time. They're just like,
hello, that's the gag. Yeah,
it's like
that's why you're just like,
okay,
where do you think I get this from?
They're at least like in a similar.
They're in the same school.
Exactly.
But even now, I see people complaining about Hermione. They're like, I can't believe they were robbed in the books. I'm like, they're not this was never a thing. They were never even close to being a thing. He's a straight up villain in the books. That's his role. That's his character. It's fine. Yep. Like he wasn't robbed. He just his role is to be a villain. That's fine.
Right.
Like,
but I think that's what I was expecting from Raylo, because like I know Hermione, right? Like I haven't read those books, so, but whatever, doesn't matter. But like the movies, I felt like there was like maybe tension, or there was like you could see something.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I was expecting like when Raylo, it's literally so huge. I was expecting something. Yeah. So when I watched these, I was like, this is what y'all are writing about? Like,
literally, it was so crazy. When I first started hearing about Raylo, I was like, wait, are we watching? Like, did I watch the same movie?
The same movie?
Watch that, like, now you're writing these fanfics about? I was like, hello? That's crazy.
Huh? You guys are really just trying to make, like, there's no reason they had no, like, whatever was going on in their universe, they didn't need to be in a romance anyway.
Also true.
Literally.
Like, you're literally running from the Empire that's come back. So I'm not really understanding. So, the girls are thirsty, clearly.
Exactly.
If Adam Driver was better looking, maybe I'd support it.
He
just looks if he didn't look the way that he looks, unfortunately for him, clearly people are into it. I'm not one of them. If he looked different, maybe I'd be like, I want to read. One time I did try to read a Raylo fic. I just want like the energy of like someone evil. Like, I just want them to be evil together. But like, it was like they all took a turn into being like corny, and I was like, I don't. They don't. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
It's like it's the way that I don't think Adam Driver is cute, but like Adrian Brody, I like. They're like kind of twins, but like what? There's something
they are.
different
But
about their
Adrian Brody's
energies.
like ugly hot.
Yeah.
It's something about his
Okay.
energy.
And
It's
Adam
like
Driver
he
is
looks,
just ugly,
yes.
ugly. So like,
Adam Driver doesn't have the same
I
like.
feel justified then, because I was like, I know they're
Yes.
similar, but like I'm getting one, I'm not getting the other. Like
there's
Yes.
like he just has some like something about him that you can't
Just like the way he
put
talks.
your
Something, the way he talks.
just
Something
like
about him. He's got an energy.
cool. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
Driver, not.
One thing
No.
I could get behind, and there should be more books about, are John Boyega's character and Oscar Isaac's character.
Oh,
like
exactly.
where are the books for
love
that?
it.
Hit the keyboard. Where are the
where are the books? Where are the books?
where's the picks for this?
On
And wasn't
AO3,
that supposed
but
to
like,
be in
why
there?
aren't
I
they
don't know.
published? Like, because I remember leaving the theater after I saw the first one in theaters, and then the second two I just saw like a month ago. But after I left the theater for the first one, I was like, wait, like I'm getting something from their energy, and that was
They
straight
had
up.
more chemistry than everyone else.
I was not online. I just left the theater like organically thinking like I could get behind those two as like a
and
situation.
then you see how they put him with what's her name, which made zero sense. I'm like, why is he kissing her?
Yeah.
Whatever her name
boring.
is.
I wish I
boring.
could remember. The movies were boring, but
the movies are bad. Those movies they get progressive. Like the first one, like episode 7's like, okay.
Yeah.
Episode 8, you're like,
what are you doing?
Okay.
I literally
the last one was so bad that I like have only watched it once, and it made me so angry that I was like, I can never watch this
I feel like
again.
I didn't even watch the last one because I was just like,
I watched it like during lockdown.
Oh yeah.
For the first time, because I was like, I've got nothing else to do.
After the second one, I literally had to text Adia and be like, did the fans like this movie? Because like I need to know, like as a fan yourself, like what's going on in that fandom?
The fans started hating the movies the longer they went on. It's like you could tell that whoever was writing them didn't just write a trilogy and then split it in half. They're like writing movies on the fly. I'm like, can you at least
try
get some continuity from the one that you just put out? Like it's like
literally.
That's a whole debate that you go into.
Sorry to bring it up, but the Raylo thing, I just needed to like,
absolutely.
No, it doesn't exist in the films at all.
It's crazy.
Partially why it's confusing that it's so popular. I'm like, I don't get it.
That's the thing. It's like the level of popularity versus the crumbs that I got in the movie were not adding up. Like if they had even looked at each other in the movie, I might have been able to read into something, but there was just literally nothing. I'm like, why are there literally hundreds of books about this? Like if I go to Target, every book there is a Raylo fic. Like, what are we?
You're just like,
what are we?
Yeah.
What is going on? It's crazy. I need to make a shelf for this on Goodreads. Be like,
no, you should.
Fanfics that duped me,
honestly, and it takes me out of it once I realize what it is. I'm like, wait, now I hate it. Like now I'm over it. Like
I've only read one that I had no clue was Raylo, and once I found out, I still liked it because I had already read it. But then like every book of hers afterwards, I'm looking at it sideways because I'm like,
this is Raylo.
This is Raylo, and I don't know how I feel about that. But the first one was good. The other ones, it's Julie Soto. If you're wondering, she's on my hate list.
Oh yeah,
Forget Me Not.
Like
Forget Me Not was good.
Yes, yeah.
Forget Me Not was good, but then like the cello book was so bad. It was like fanfic in the worst way. That's like there was zero effort into trying to give them personalities because you're supposed to know who they are already. Like you're supposed to know what these people are supposed to be like, and I was just like, at least if you're gonna publish it, can you add something? Like try a little bit. I don't know. It was bad. It was pretty bad.
All of these are lazy. Like we're not getting any different books from any of these people. You know what I mean? It's like, why are Rena Ked's books all the same? Why is Julie Rosola writing? Why is Allie Hazelwood writing the same couple different?
She's so popular. I want to like Allie Hazelwood
doing?
so bad, but I just can't. I read Not in Love, and something about it, I'm like, there's no way this woman enjoys like in her real life. There's no way she enjoys like the act of having sex or romance because it was like two robots talking to each other, and I was just like, is this supposed to be sexy? It was like gross.
Yeah,
it was like creeped me out. I was like, ew. Like I guess if you're
Yes.
into
Like,
it.
don't you guys have other things that you're interested in? You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
like
No, all they're interested in is
I
science. Like, can you do anything else?
I know, but
No.
like, okay, so I have not finished my first book yet, but like, I already know what my second book's gonna be, and it's like, it's completely not even the same. Like, I don't understand how we're writing the same shit over and over. Like, I have so many things that are interesting in the
Mhm.
world, and like,
I don't think
you guys
they're
are just,
actually writing these books. That's the thing. Like,
you
I
know
mean, like they
that?
are, but I
Okay,
think that
yeah.
like people, and I feel like it was confirmed with Allie Hazelwood that somebody just like gives her a list of tropes that have to be hit, and then the rest of it just
Mm.
kind of like it doesn't
Oh,
really matter what the rest of it sounds like, as long as they're in
yeah.
Yeah.
STEM and they're enemies to lovers, and the guy's really tall and the girl's really small,
Yep.
I
and
feel
then
like
it's
her and
like
Tessa Bailey, I could see those two
Tessa
being
Bailey is
tropes.
also on my hate list
She's on my hate
officially,
list.
and I want to
She did
like
that
hate
Why
read it, but
Choose.
it's just
She did this Why Choose, and it was based on her TikToks. So, like, she blew up on TikTok, and then it turned in
Mm.
people were replying to some of her videos and, like, commenting about, like, "Oh, how funny would it be if you wrote a book, like, you know, about whatever." She was, like, talking about something, and it turned into
Mhm.
this whole Why Choose romance that was, like, literally it was 200 pages, and it was so bad, and after that, I was
Oh
like,
gosh.
"I'm done with it." Like, I was
Yeah.
whatever. But it's just like, what are we
I've only
there's,
read
like,
two of
nothing
hers,
here.
and
There's nothing
I was
here.
like, "That's
And
enough
we're
for
done. Yeah.
me. We're
And for
That's
done."
it.
anybody
Because
listening, if you look back, you'll see I gave some 5 stars, but, like, hindsight is 2020. Now that
yeah,
I've
because
read a lot
sometimes you're like
more
you're
That's the
reading
gag.
something
Like when you
and you're
look
like
back at
into it, but
reviews,
you're
you're
just like,
like,
"Yikes, I was into
wait a
this. Like,
minute.
this is a 5 star? Really?"
no,
Yeah. It's
because you're
like when
talking
you
about Ellie
first start
Hazelwood.
reading something, you're like, okay, this is everything. And then you like
Yeah.
look back at it and you're like, that?
No,
Okay.
literally, because so, like, we're talking about Ellie Hazelwood, it's like, I literally gave The Love Hypothesis 5 stars, but then I
Oh
barely
god.
I almost DNF'd Bride, and I love werewolves, so it's like, what are
Right.
we
See, I actually like
clearly
Bride because it was
I
like
know.
so
Yeah.
ridiculous from the jump. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, great. She's a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
He's a werewolf. Like,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I mean, I think that there was too much plot almost. Like, I don't care about the storyline. Neither did
I
she,
think
because
that
she
was
put it all at the end of the book. This is
I
the
know.
problem.
I think that was my
Like,
gripe too, because she was trying to make everything more important than it was, and there was
yeah,
just
my
like there
girl,
was no reason for this to be
this
important.
is
Like,
Omega versus vampire story. Like, we do not
yeah.
need this
Please.
the deep plot that you're trying to put in here.
I think
Exactly.
I'm also angry that like now that's like becoming like I don't mind werewolves becoming like mainstream, right? Like that's the vibe, like Twilight, whatever. But like it's she did it so bad that it's like now people think like you know what
That
I
You're
mean?
it's
like
It's
supposed
all
like
to
vampire,
be
all
this.
werewolf
oh
books bad. Yeah.
yes, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
true. I don't think I've read
Um,
a good werewolf book. That's actually true.
wait, are
You
you
liked
kidding?
that one
Wait,
that
have
we
I?
read.
Wait,
What
which one
is
did
it?
we read?
Oh, Savannah, which one was that? The one that they were doctors. You
Oh,
liked that.
actually, that one was good. That one was good.
You did like
But
that one.
now I'm looking at her sideways too because
Uh,
Wait, which
I've
one
read
is
three of
did
her
I read
books.
this?
Lana, oh, I
I
have
think you
Goodreads up.
I don't think you did. I
Doctors. Oh
think
wait,
you
no,
were
no, no.
like,
I know which one you're talking about. The Perfect Mate. I haven't read
yes,
that.
yes, yes, yes.
No,
You
Yes,
I'm
haven't.
and
super
I gave
yeah,
that
I'm
4 stars, and like, at the time, I mean, I
a
was
month
into
ago.
it.
Well, it's funny because
I
like I
didn't.
read it and I was like,
I read this like
this
a
is
year ago. I'm not
okay.
saying a
Like,
month ago, but yeah,
I
like
think
when I read it, I was like, this was really crazy, and I enjoyed it. But now, like every
yeah.
book that I read by her after, they get progressively
Mm,
worse. Now she does have a Loch Ness monster one coming out in December, and I am gonna listen to it. And
absolutely.
this is her
let
last
me
chance.
know. I would love to
I'll
know.
let you know.
Because I
And Allie
think
Hazelwood has a swimmer romance coming out, and I
oh
said that I would
yeah,
never read it. I'm
Wait,
gonna
did you
read it.
read the soccer one by
Striker,
yes.
Annabelle.
No,
Did
because
you
now I'm
read that?
scared
Didn't you get
because
it?
every single thing that I see, I did. Why? I blacked out because I was desperate, clearly.
Wait, because
Everything
you
that I
bought it,
see
right?
about it,
Yeah, she
I
bought
bought it,
it.
clown. And everything I see
Clown.
is that it's like 600 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I already know it's gonna be boring because I think all
Yeah.
of her other books are boring. So I
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
don't really
yeah.
know why. I
But I
think it
need
was
you to read
reset to
it so you can tell
soccer.
me about
I'm
it.
gonna have to. I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to. She's another one on my hate list.
I know. I think my issue with like the Allie Hazelwood and the reason I'm not going to read The Perfect Mate is like they're giving too like reality. Like, why are we talking about werewolves as like doctors? Like, can we just pretend that they live in like
It was
some
also like
other
in, like, the
wasn't it also
woods.
during like the COVID era? It was like during it was like
I think it
2020 or
was.
2021, and they were like, I put my mask on. There was one
And
book
he
I
got
read
like
recently that
he
was
got
like,
like
I put my
outed.
mask on, and like
Oh my
because she
god.
was sick, had to visit him, or she was sick, he had to visit her in the hospital, put his mask on and kissed me through his mask. I was like, we're done. Close. And
You
this
gave
I
it
book.
feel
4
like
stars, Savannah?
I
when
can't
I
remember
tell
if it was that
you,
book or it was a
You
different
blacked
one.
out for
when
sure.
I tell
did.
you,
He
sometimes you
did.
just like listen to something and like you
Yeah.
just stay up and you're like, wow, this was a hit, and you never think about it again.
Vibe. Yeah.
And I'm just like,
Sometimes you're like,
was
wow,
it
I
good?
loved it.
I don't
Yeah.
know,
But I'm not
It
going to
was-
go back and check. Like,
yeah, I'm never gonna read
yeah.
it again. But for that moment in time, it was crazy.
it was a
good.
hit. Yeah.
But
No, it happens.
That's fair.
I
That's
just
fair.
that one, the fake
fair.
me, it was like I was like, okay, they're doctors, they're
I think it's
werewolves,
because
they're
it was
not like
Omega
she's in
verse, and
heat.
I didn't know what that was, and now I
Yeah,
do.
at the time. Yeah. But
And I'm
then
like,
like
Omegaverse is a hit. Like,
then they were like, okay,
it kind
now
of
we're
is.
going into heat. She's going into heat and like
Exactly. And
we
I was
have to go
like,
somewhere. And I was
he
like, wait,
has to
what's
mate or
happening?
he's gonna like lose his license or something. I was like,
Yeah.
what? And then like the one doctor is like jealous and he's like exposing him for
He's
not having a
like,
mate. I'm like, that's
they're fake mates. And I was like,
that's
huh?
crazy. That's
It was
crazy.
crazy.
Like,
But
bro,
then
you're
like the
salty for
one
real.
gag was like she was like in heat, but like didn't like transform into a werewolf. But then there was one chapter where they were like, now we're running in the woods. And I was like,
You're
wait,
like, huh? They're running?
what's happening?
It was really just like a all vibes,
It was crazy.
zero
you
thought.
read more werewolf than you think because you also read the
Damn.
moon blooded breeding clinic one. That was
Oh,
werewolf.
yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
That
a
one,
lot
low key,
of-
too much plot.
I-
Yeah, way too much
I
plot.
know you thought that. That one to me was a hit, but that's okay.
It started off, she was saying so many names. I was like,
All
what?
his brothers, I was like, can
Oh,
we
yeah.
I
cool
was like,
it?
girl,
Can we
I
cool
know.
it?
Once they got going, it was good. But I'm
I was like, okay.
I was starting to ask
Yeah.
too many questions, and that's minute for me. I'm like, okay, she was married to a lizard man, so this means she can't. Obviously, I'm like, I've read 3 of these books now, and in none of them have I ever been under the assumption that like these human women can have
Yeah.
monster babies. So why now is she
Yeah.
confused that she can't have a baby with her lizard man husband? I'm like, is this a thing?
Right.
I didn't realize we were
This
worried
gag?
about this.
Yeah.
And now she's
Yeah.
at a clinic? I'm like, what?
Her random
I
friend being
started-
like, do this. Like,
Right.
okay.
And I mean, and then, okay, I read Crave. Not me scrolling. Crave was, I low key want to binge read all of them. I made it to the 3rd one and I was like, I need a break. They're like 800 pages long. It's nonsense.
Crave. I'm gonna look.
Crave. What
are
is
they-
Crave?
Trace, oh God. Okay, it's 600 pages. My bad. It's literally,
Yeah, I don't.
it's like
you
Vampire
mentioned this,
Diary
I
or
think.
Vampire Academy,
Yeah,
but like
Oh,
more than
okay.
vampires.
Yeah.
And the main girl's like a gargoyle or something.
Yeah,
Not a
I think I was looking
gargoyle.
at this. Honestly, we need more gargoyle romances, if we're honest. I
started
love a
listening to one and it
gargoyle.
was kind of intense. What's it called?
Wait, did you do Captured by the Gargoyle by Lillian Lark? Because that
No,
one,
I
don't
know. I downloaded it, but after reading the Kraken one,
okay.
I low key don't know if I want to read more because the Kraken one was.
It's tough because I feel
Ooh.
like different monsters give different energy. Because like, who is
Hmm.
it? Katie Robert does. She has like a dragon one, a kraken one, a gargoyle one, and like some of them are hits and some of them are big misses. And it's like I just don't think you liked this monster when you wrote this book, but you like
Yeah,
wanted
so it's
to
like
write
why?
because I like the basilisk one that Lillian Lark wrote. Like I ate it up. Like I was
Okay.
you might hate it, but like I ate it up.
The Kraken, yeah, the Kraken was boring. I thought it was the most vanilla. I'm like, how do you make a Kraken vanilla? I don't.
Honestly.
And the Lillian Lark one, like it had. When I say like again, I always say there's too much plot, but like the main plot was like paranormal human trafficking. I'm like, I don't know why this is the premise of this book.
Mm-hmm.
She's running like a sex bathhouse, but then next door
have a lot of plot. That's
next door they're like trafficking paranormals. I'm like, what the fuck am I reading?
Literally.
And then they have the most like boring sex ever. I'm like, this dude has tentacles, and how is it boring?
This is the best you can do. Yeah.
This is all you could think about. Really. And then she's got like this contraceptive necklace that she takes off. She's like, I want to have your Kraken children. I'm like, what?
Okay. The contraceptive necklaces gag me every time because it's so fucking ridiculous. I read one the other day that was like, I'm on a potion. It's like, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Romantasy does that too, where it's like, I'm on a potion. Like, girl, just let it ride.
Did you take your tonic? Oh my god, I read this one and I swear to god, they said tonic so many times that every time I heard it, I was like, it's losing a point every single time they say the word tonic. It was like, it was, like when they find a word that they just don't know how to get a new word. You're like, yeah, we get it. She's on the tonic.
A lot of authors do this stupid thing where they're like, something crossed his face, like an emotion I couldn't place, or like something I couldn't name. Like,
you're a literal author. I need you to place it. Like, find the word.
Open up a thesaurus.
Like, just
Google
tell me what
synonyms for.
Exactly. No, literally. Why are we pretending like you couldn't place his fucking scent? Like, it's an apple. Like, it doesn't. Like, who cares? You're the author. Write it.
You're the author. Write it.
When I see those, it automatically loses points in any book. I'm like, look,
like literally the dictionary of the source exists. I read one and they said the word cravat. Once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. And everybody had a cravat. In every scene, there was a cravat. And then, like, instead of saying, oh my god, she said, like, blood and steel. I was like, oh my god.
It was like brutal.
Oh my gosh, who was it that like, you said, oh my god, and I thought of what's her name saying, oh my Beethoven in God of Pain. I was like, we're done. Stop. And
oh my Beethoven.
Yeah, she was like, he's my god. I was like, stop.
It's like Chavatsky or something. It was like some other.
Oh, Tchaikovsky. Oh my Tchaikovsky. I was like,
you're trying so hard to be quirky that you're just
I was like, no.
You're trying
and then
too hard.
Obviously God of Pain, man. What was his name again?
That was Creighton.
I can't remember.
That was Creighton.
No, Creighton was the first one, I thought.
Creighton.
Oh, no.
No, Creighton is like the quiet one. Who was the first one? Killian. Killian was the first
one. That same
yeah.
name. Killian Creighton.
Literally.
So Creighton was like, now had beef with Tchaikovsky.
Yeah.
And he was like, don't say that in front of me. Don't say that ever. And I was like, first of all, she's a literal musician, like, or ballerina. Like, she loves dancing to like,
but also
Tchaikovsky. But I was like, you're crazy.
Creighton was kind of right for that because I didn't want to see it anymore.
I also didn't want to see it, but I was like,
okay. And the gag is Ava says it again in the third book, like, because she's a side character, obviously, and like she says it, and I was like, not this shit again.
Delete.
I thought I ended that book. Like,
yeah, it's like y'all need to clear your Word docs. Start. Yeah, I'm like, maybe instead of putting out a book, you're putting out 4 books in a year. Maybe you should do one every 3 years.
Yeah. Think about it. Stop and think about it. Like,
they're like, are you like on a farm? Like, what is a content farm that we're living? These people are like publishing. I'm like, damn, did she just put out a book?
Exactly.
Like, what's happening?
When you think about like, not the best example maybe because controversial, but like SJM, she's not putting out 4 books a year. We get, you see one
every 2 or 3.
Yeah. And it's like clearly there's some thought and intention here versus like
now is it going to be good? I still to this day I haven't read The Last Stone of Glass because I'm scared. That's the real reason. I don't want it to end. But I haven't read the third Crescent City because I've heard it's so bad. But it's like I'm like, damn, really? The second one wasn't like my favorite.
Yeah.
But the third one apparently is bad. And even like her diehards are saying it's bad, which I'm like, leash.
That is when because I will say I haven't gotten that far in either series. I've done like 4 of Throne of Glass. I'm not running to pick it up either is the thing. Like I'm just here now. But I've only seen people talk about the first 2 Crescent City books, and the third one came out and it was crickets. There was just like, I'm shocked.
People hated it.
There's the team behind that. Yeah. They were all like, no.
The first one is good. Exactly. I mean, the problem is that they're just like long AF. Like it's like 900 pages. And I'm like, oh my god.
So I did start the first Crescent City before I knew what the series were. Like it came in at the library and I was like, let me start this. And I read
it's confusing
first,
if you know, because like
pages.
Yes, you have to read about like 150 pages for like the actual plot to happen.
Absolutely not. That's too much.
I read the first
it's a
200
1,000-page
pages.
book, so
Yeah, and then something crazy happened, and I was like, this could have been the whole book. Like, this could have been like she could have ended it here,
right.
and then
That's actually
I
true. And then it would have been backgrounded in the second one. I
exactly,
mean, the
but
first one, I think the first one is like a banger once it gets going. The second one,
I mean, either way, my
eh,
whole I ran out of time at the library because it was so fucking long, and I just never got it again. So I've only read the first 200 pages out of 800.
I
But
mean, I
you
still
know,
maintain that Throne
I
of
was
Glass is her
gagged. I
best
was like,
series. If you're gonna read
that's
one,
what,
I would read Throne of Glass.
that's what a lot of people say.
I
I see
think
that
Akatar
pretty
was good. Like, I
frequently.
think the trio was good. I've never read the Nesta one because I never liked her. But
I liked it, but
people say it's. I can't tell if people like it because it's horny or like. There's so many people online who are
that's
like, Nesta's my favorite character. I'm like, no way. You read the first 3 books and you came out of it thinking that Nesta was
I
the
did
best character.
I did like her after her book, but now it's been almost 2 years since I've read it, and I'm like having thoughts of like, Hmm. Maybe like there's
Like,
some questionable things happening because she's still
Mhm.
writing both of those series, Crescent City and Quarter whatever, like the whole series. So I'm like, I feel like something's about to happen that I'm not gonna like, and it
apparently,
was
she's
all like
making like a universe,
foreshadowed. Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
And
allegedly. And I'm like,
I don't know. I don't
I mean,
know.
I'll read it because I'm a shill. The same way I'm going to read Fourth Wing, the next one. I've already pre-ordered it. I'm like, this is the
Not
last
the
one though.
pre-order. Not the
If
pre-order.
it's the
Savannah.
second one was
Iron
me
Flame
to the
sits on my
chokehold.
shelf and stares at me. I didn't even I was
Iron
waiting for
Flame
it to come in,
was
and then people
so
said it was
bad,
bad.
Katie.
Yeah.
It was
Yes.
so
Yes.
bad that I was
So
like, I'm
The
so
girlies on Book
confused
Talk
as to
stay being like,
how
this is the book. And it's like
I
a fourth
know.
wing. And I'm like,
I know.
hello?
Fourth Wing
So
is like one of those like popcorn. It's like
yeah, for
I read
sure.
it in like 2 days. Like I was up at like 5 a.m. like reading this damn book. Like I didn't sleep, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what she put in this, but
Yeah.
the first one was good. But after that, you're just like,
Yeah, so that's like I read the first one. I do think some of my rating was influenced by like the popularity, I will say. I mean,
Mhm.
whatever, that's fine. But I pre-ordered the second one, was so excited for it to come in because it was so whatever.
everyone the
And
controversy
then my
between the damn sprayed edges.
and then my book took forever to get here, like shipping or whatever. And so by the time I got it, it was like a week or two after it released, and everybody
You're
had
like,
been
damn, I
clowning
can't
it
read it.
online. So
You
everybody
were
was
like,
like, it's
well,
so bad, it's so bad. So I was like, I guess I'm not that like pressed to read it. So I just never committed to
I mean,
starting it.
honestly, you can
So
read my review because I slammed it, and I still give it 3 stars. I was being very generous, and I put like
interesting.
every spoiler ever. It
Okay.
was bad. It was pretty
We'll
bad.
okay,
see. We'll
perfect.
see.
It's pretty
But
bad.
yeah, I just
But I'm gonna
like
read the next one, and this is the
mm,
last one for me. That's it. I can't,
We'll
in good
see. We'll
conscience.
circle back with you.
I
yeah.
mean, she says that this couple's end game, but I'm like, I don't know
I
how this is
don't
about to be a
believe her.
5 book.
Yeah.
Like, if it was
Yeah.
end game, they should have not have gotten together in the first book. If it's gonna be 5 books,
Agreed.
Literally.
Agreed.
That's
I think so
boring.
too.
it's like,
I know.
can you?
I
And now
know.
there's like people debating. They're like, Zayden is a man of color. I'm like, because he's tan.
You know, that's a whole nother issue that we have on Book
I'm like,
Talk
why
is
do y'all
like
think that he's a
Hmm.
man of color? He's literally a white man that's got a tan and he's got black hair. If anything, I mean, this is a fake world, but if we can pass him off as anything, maybe he could be like Mediterranean or something. I'm like, what about
not
any of these people
Mediterranean, like
is
spicy
giving black
white,
to
like
you? Right.
Mediterranean.
Literally, the
Like
spicy white.
he's a spicy white, but I'm like, ethnic? You think he's what? Like,
Well,
am I
I love the idea of pretending he's Indian in my head, but there's nothing that gives like
oh,
she doesn't like say
she
that.
doesn't
So like
say
that's just
that.
me
Hmm.
projecting, but
Yeah,
it's
you're just
like
like,
the
this
But
is
I
what I
mean,
want. Yeah.
idea. Like that's like I would love that, but I don't know. I feel like that's a whole issue. It's like all these authors are making things like Sarah J. Maas does it too, where Reese is like tan. Like what are
Hmm.
we, is he
tan
tan or
with
is he like a
jet
person of
black
color?
hair.
Like
I
what
think
are
Yeah.
we
I
like?
think he's to me,
I think they're
when I see
like
the
trying to
word tan,
pretend
I think of
though, you
white
know?
people that are just tan.
Yeah.
Unless you
Yeah.
Yeah.
explicitly say that they're like
I know.
black or something else, I'm just like, okay, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that everyone in this book is white.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
But I
giving
feel like
like
they're
tall,
both
dark, and handsome, but like
yes.
dark
right. Especially
is
because
just like you
in
have
Yeah.
Pan's kid.
in Akatar, there are like black fae. Like they go to some like
Right.
island or
Right.
something where people actually
Mhm.
are black, and you can like
Yeah. Yeah.
tell the
Yeah.
difference in the way she describes them. So it's like Grayson is not black.
I know, but I feel like
he's a white man. It's fine.
Play their audience. I feel like they're trying to pretend that they have like diversity. Well, although like you said, in ACOTAR she does have like actual black face, but like I feel like she's like they are trying
they want
to
her to be diverse, and it's like it's okay. It's exactly. Like do we really care if Sarah J. Maas's made up fairy world is diverse? Like, do I really give a fuck? I really don't.
When her
like,
real life
these people
is...
have powers and long blonde hair and pointy ears. Like, I don't care about the racial diversity of these make believe. They have wings, and you're worried about the color of their skin.
Literally, it's just like I don't know,
I'm
but that's like really being like I feel like every popular book these days is like he's like tan. Like what are we doing with that? Like why is that becoming like the new? I don't know. Like just
tan.
He can just be a guy. He doesn't. Yeah, right. He can just be.
I'm gonna be real with you. Like I pretty much disregard every description of what people look like.
Absolutely.
You don't have to tell me.
You don't have to tell us. We
confused.
Same.
I'll be like, oh.
Arrowheart, blonde. Every chapter, they're like her short brown hair. I'm like her long.
I'm like,
no,
hair. She's blonde.
Like,
she's blonde. Blue eyes, they're brown. Beard, no beard. I'm like, I don't.
It's like whatever their vibe is giving is what I'm picturing. Like,
exactly.
I don't know if you've heard this, Savannah. I know I've said it. It's like in the room with Aaron. Like, so when I first read Twilight, like I could not tell you what one of those characters looked like. And I was talking to my friend in like literally 9th grade, and I was like, yeah, and Alice has like blonde hair and like whatever. Like it came up, and she's like, where did you get that? I'm like, well, I don't know. Like I just thought it was. Yeah, I just thought it was blonde. And she's like, they mentioned it like 100 times that she's like got brown hair. I'm like, I literally
like I knew that Alice was doing that, but like in my mind, Jacob was like 6'5". His hair was only ever this long,
right,
ever. Right. Like, like it's very hard. Like I have to look up fan art sometimes. I'm like, I'm confused.
You know,
about what these people look like.
I love when Pinterest. I'm like, blah blah aesthetic, blah blah this. Like
I need some Zodiac Academy. I was like, what the hell do people look like?
Yeah.
Had to Google every single character. I was like, okay. I'm there now. Powerless number 2, Gooped and Gagged. Like, what am I on? Like,
what are you on?
What I tell you, I just be reading these books, or like I listen to them on like 2x speed, playing my Disney game, and that's probably why in my mind I'm like, these books they're bangers. And then like I can't remember a single plot point,
and you're like,
I cannot tell you a single thing that happens. I'm like, oh well, I mean. When I read it, it was good.
So funny.
Left my mind immediately. When I return early, entire book is gone. I'm like, I don't know.
Real.
Yeah,
that's real.
I don't know what happened.
I'm upset because one of the books that I had that I didn't read for like the last week because of everything that was happening. I just needed to like do scroll and then like watch TV. But one of the books I had, I was 73% of the way done, got returned. I said, and now I'm on like a 5-week waiting list. And I was like, I cannot.
Sometimes I just like Google like spoilers because I'm like, or sometimes I just want to read it and I'll just say I read it at 70%. I'm like, well,
that's it. Thank you.
I basically did read it.
That's whenever
it was like the gag was like I was actually enjoying that book, so I was like, oh come on, like
I could have another week. Yeah,
I know.
When I'm desperate, I will buy it on Kindle, and I'm not proud of that. But sometimes I'm just like, I have to finish this book. I'll spend the $15 just so I can read the last,
I might
like,
just go to like the Grove Barnes and Noble and like sit there. They have a big sitting area, and I might just get that book.
Oh, actually, that's smart.
That's a good idea.
Just read
and then put it back and be like, everyone.
That is so funny. I'm so desperate to not buy it that I'm like, is it on Spotify audio? Is it on like I'm looking?
I do that too. I'm like,
everywhere.
I'm like, can I find it on YouTube? Where can I find the end of the end?
Yeah. What is it? What is that like Anna's Archive? Like I'm looking there.
Yeah, because like when I read The Witching Hour,
that has a lot of things like that you could just download.
The Witching Hour. You're so brave.
No, it's like the way that Spotify cut me off in the last 30 minutes, and I was like, I don't think you understand. Like,
you're like, no, give me 30 more minutes.
Yes. And then it was like, I don't know. My book had already returned to the library, my audiobook, which is why I was on Spotify. And I'm like, it's literally like the last, like, y'all see it's a 50-hour audiobook and I'm on the last 30 minutes. Like, y'all couldn't give me this one. Like, what are we?
They said,
that's
like,
crazy. That's the reason I haven't bought it, because I look at it and I'm just like,
Savannah, I think you're gonna hate it. The more I think about it, the more
that's fair. That's very valid. I feel like you know what I like, and I just
okay. So actually, Someone in real life the other day was like, "I'm gonna start reading The Witching Hour," and it made me think of you, and I was like, I don't think you're the right person for that. Like, I think you probably shouldn't read that book. There is,
Like
spoiler
helping
alert,
you
like
out.
raging incest, like chapters of incest, and
Oh.
it's like it's a little brutal. It's gothic literature. You know, what are you gonna do? But
I just want
yeah.
to like read somebody's like entire. It's got to be like I want to read like a universe, and I
Oh
kind of
yeah.
want to read City of Bones. What the hell's it called? Shadowhunters. I read the first one. I've never
Wait, you
read
said
any of
Shadow
them.
and Bone? Which one?
Shadowhunters. City of
Oh.
Bones. Whatever it's called. People always talk about infernal whatever.
Mm.
And I've only
Forbidden
read the
Under.
first one. I'm just like, there's like 13 of these books though. It's a commitment issue for me. I just want to like, I want
Yeah.
to be like, I want to know the lore of something. Like everything I
Yeah.
read is
You
like
know,
a one-off, or like it's got a couple of books.
yeah.
Like I need something that's like deep.
Yeah, that's how I ended up so far into the Vampire Chronicles is like so even now, like I've read 8 of them and I just randomly find myself thinking about the series because there's 13 and I'm like, I will finish it one day. And I bought the 9th one because they don't have it at my library or on Libby or on Hoopla. And I'm like, you know what? I'll commit to it. But it's like my brain needs like something that I already know and like what's going
Yeah.
on here. You know, it's like that's how I ended up
Exactly.
here. Because I did not anticipate reading The Witching Hour, but then I was like, you know what? Like I'm craving like now that I know her writing, I'm like I need something
Yeah.
like that in my life.
You're
And
indoctrinated.
no, yeah, I am, and the reason you're gonna hate it is because there's not a plot to be seen in these books, not one single
That's the
plot.
killer.
That's
That's the main killer.
insane.
Well, you're just reading words and words. You're
And
like,
you're just like,
where
what is
is the
happening? Yeah.
plot?
You just like literally The Witching Hour is like a description of 13 generations of witches character like arcs. And so it's like there's not a plot. There's a semi baby plot, like a little one, but like
That's crazy
not
for a 50-hour book. You're like, there's a semi-baby
That
plot
book is
here.
huge. Like it's like a break. Like you could knock someone out with that book. Like
Yeah.
I have the
she's
like a hardback. It's like a rock,
Yeah. But, like,
but
that's
it's
how all
cool
of them are.
looking.
Every single book is, like, just, like, a character deep dive, and it's like, I
Mm.
love that. Like, I love knowing, like, what makes you tick and, like but not every book, like, does that well either. Like, there's other books out there that are like, I need you to have a plot, but, you know, I think you're looking for a plot and you're gonna be bored to tears. You're just gonna be like,
That's so
"Where are we
funny.
going with this?" And it's like, just let the
I'm like,
tale seduce you, but also maybe
I
Mhm.
don't.
need
You're
something. I was like, should I read Katie Roberts' universe? But then I heard her
oh,
books are bad. So I'm like,
her books are bad. I mean, I've read a couple, but
I
they're
want to
they're
read
not
like the
great.
twist. What are those books called?
The Twisted series with, like, Twisted
No,
Love
not
and us? Oh, okay.
like no, never after the never like the Emily McIntyre, because I read the Scarred one, like those Disney.
Please. I've
It
read 2
wasn't
of
good.
them.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't good!
It wasn't good. But I'm like, the covers make me feel like
You're like, wait a
it'll be
minute.
interesting. But
So, the Captain Hook one was okay, and the
the
Hunchback of
Rising
Notre
one was
Dame,
bad.
like, why did that one get me? But it was not good.
See? You're like,
They're
no, it wasn't
it got
good.
me, but, like, in retrospect, I'm, like, kinda boring. Like, he's
I
just a
just need
priest,
somebody to
like,
like,
fucking a girl, you know? It's like, what are
I
we
need someone to give me a good, like, what is it? Like, I see these books recommended everywhere, so I'm like, clearly somebody thinks they're good.
Yeah.
I want to
You
be
need
You
to
could
I
be
want to
that
read a good
person.
Hades Persephone, but they're all bad. Like the Starless St. Clair ones, terrible. Like
I
terrible
liked the
books.
first one, but the second 2 were bad.
I read the Hades ones first, or the first 2 Hades ones, and then
Mhm.
the third one wasn't out, so I read hers, and I hated Persephone so much from like her point of view that I was like,
You
I
know, the thing
can't
with
even read these anymore.
I
It's
eat up
so
Hades
bad.
and Persephone, I really do. I go out of my way to read them, and it's like, it is so hit or miss. Like, sometimes we've talked in our group chat about, like, bad female main characters, and it's like, sometimes they
Ugh.
just make her the worst. They just make her a little
Yeah.
whiny bitch, and you're
It's
like,
just like
"This is
brain
not
dead. You're like,
Persephone."
what
Like,
the?
Please.
yeah, just because she likes flowers does not mean that she, like, has to be like this. Like,
I'm
we're
Mhm.
like, damn, what is it, like Outsider or Outlander? I can't. I read the first one.
No. Really? That was
I
a big
mean, the
one.
first one was good,
Like 800 pages too.
but there's like 12 of them, and they
That's
just get
crazy.
longer. So I'm like, I don't know about that.
That's
Like, I'd
crazy.
rather watch the show before I commit to
Yeah,
that. I could probably watch the show
Mhm.
faster.
for sure.
Absolutely.
It's like Ice Planet Barbarians. I read 3 of those. That's almost too many. That's almost enough. It's like
Yeah.
the copy and paste. Like, what can I read that's like gonna get me?
I think you need to take a break from reading, Savannah, if I'm honest. Like,
I think I do.
Because you're at like 250 for the year, and it's like if you come back a little bit fresher, you might have a better eye for some of these.
You
Well,
see
the
how
gag was I was
like,
looking the
eyes
other day, I
bleeding
was
over.
looking at my thing and then my friends like challenges, and I saw Savannah's and it was like you're at 250 and your original challenge was like 150 like 50. I was like, Savannah, slow down.
And honestly, I hate to say, do I remember half of the things that I read?
No.
It depends. It depends. And the problem is they're all such like it's the samey type of plot for every because it's like the same genre that it's like it just bleeds together. You're like,
yeah.
What am I even reading?
Gosh.
I don't know. As I have literally 2 library books sitting next to me. This one that I've been reading for like 2 weeks, and now I don't even care anymore because November 5th ruined it, and I'm just like I might just return it.
That's the
and
worst.
Call it like, but I want to know how it ends, and I'm just like, ugh.
The thing with the library, which is a good and a bad thing, is like I feel like I'm more likely to finish a library book because it's sitting and looking at me versus like a Kindle book.
The pressure.
Return,
I mean,
on my phone, on my
I will keep renewing a book, which is problematic instead of just returning it. Convincing myself that every time I renew it, I'm like, okay, I'll actually read it this time. Like, no, you won't. You won't.
You know, I will say that if I have to renew a book, it's not getting finished. Like that's just the gag.
That's actually a good point. That's a good point.
I've like learned the only ones that I've actually again it's Anne Rice though, like because it takes me so fucking long to read them because they're so like her wording is so dense. But otherwise, any other author, I've never finished a book that I've had to renew. That's the only I've never done it.
I've renewed them so many times that I start getting embarrassed and I do finish it. I'm like, I've had this book for so long. So like,
it's been 3 months.
Right, like be serious. Let someone else read it, please.
Clearly nobody wants it. It's not on hold. Like, but
I might just take it back because I have to work tomorrow. So I'm like, you know what? I'm on page like 400, but it's like 600 books. I'm like, I've already committed this much time. I started skimming. Like, get the end.
I mean, sometimes a good skim is necessary.
Depending on the book, like. I was at DNF the other day. I'm like, can I skim to the end? Like, it's just.
I start when it starts. You just skim.
There are people that I've heard that only read the dialogue in books. Have you guys heard this?
I've done that before.
I've seen that.
I've done that before. Like, if it starts to get too like.
Okay. But there are people that do that for every book.
Oh no,
like that are just like
book.
Yeah. I feel like when I like first started reading again, I was like, okay, just dialogue. But then I was like, okay, like actually read the rest of the book. Like the half of the book you're not reading. So I was like,
what's going on,
forcing myself.
If it's too much description, I will skip to dialogue.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
Usually at that point, it's like I read enough of it that it's like I know that skipping it, I'm not gonna miss anything.
Yeah,
right.
So I'll just start like.
That's so funny.
I read so many buzzers this year. I'm just looking. It's just like
so funny.
Flop after flop after flop after flop.
Do we have our It Boys of the Month? I'll quickly say mine.
Bailey. That's where I'm at right now. Oh wait,
that was mine too. Oh, that was my It Boy of the Month. That was my It Boy of the Month because he's just everything. So I love him.
I love that for you guys. I mean, I love him. Like, my It Boy of the Month is Archie Renault. Speaking of being a malapologist, I'm about to buy Netflix just so I can rewatch Shadow and Bone. Don't look at me. But he's also in Alien Romulus, and I need, if anybody's listening, I need more TikTok edits from Alien Romulus of him. So everybody get on that, please.
Yeah.
The only ones I have are not HD because it just got added to VOD. But he's also in that Camila Mendes movie, Upgraded. He is.
I feel like I know what you're talking about, but I've never seen it.
It's the Amazon movie. He's like a rich English guy, and he's like a poor American girl. Like, please,
but she like pretends she's like rich. I love it.
Yeah. The romance wasn't giving, but like he was giving, so that was enough for me.
But
he's also in The Other Zoe with that girl from After and Drew Starkey.
Oh God,
yes.
I know, but I'll watch anything for him. So
there you go. I mean, he's your It Boy. So
he started his own production company. You know, we love to see it.
I liked recently. I said Jonathan Bailey so quick, and I'm like, is that my uncle?
You did. I was like about to say it, and then you said it, and I was like, did I say it? And then she like repeated it. I was like,
I hate to be this person, but
okay. yeah.
I'm telling you, I didn't see it. I didn't understand it. But then when I saw Twisters, I was like, I get it.
Yeah.
I was like, I get it.
No,
I'm here
the
for
way
it.
they have him like rolling up to that song in his big truck with his hat.
Yeah.
Like, wait, like
I was like,
I'm
the
kind of
way like just the edits with that song, the edits with that song, and then him at the like Texas game. I'm like,
yes, the Longhorn.
Okay.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
didn't you see him, Aaron?
I did. I saw my so my roommate is an actor, and so I got to go to a special screening of like Hitman, which was not good, but he came on stage after with the main girl and like did like a Q&A thing. So I was like, oh, this is cool. And it was like really actually cool to like hear him talk about his start and blah blah blah. And they were like, so you're Netflix's golden boy? He was like, well, I filmed all these movies like for the past few years, and then they're all just coming out now. And he's like, fine by me, you know. I said, go off, King.
Netflix is not where he thrives. I mean, admittedly, I've only seen the one with Sydney Sweeney, and it wasn't good.
Anyway, I liked him.
It was
in
like
it,
cute.
them together was not it
they
for
didn't.
me.
They didn't have chemistry. Like he was good.
Yeah,
it was just like he's hot, she's hot. I was like, okay,
right.
like
It's just hot people.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to believe that's good enough.
Him in Twisters was definitely
great.
Like, that IMAX screen, I was sad. Let me tell you.
Yes. I was like, this is what we want to see.
Yeah.
The right here.
T-shirt in the rain.
The white T-shirt, the little twister motion. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
A robbery that he wasn't people's sexiest man alive, but like we move
when
on.
I tell you, my friend was like, you're never gonna guess who it was, and I was like,
please.
At first I thought it was Benny Blanco because I kept seeing those tweets and I'm like, I can't tell if this is real or
I
not.
got duped too.
I was like, okay, then I googled it and I'm like, there's
it
no
doesn't
way.
come out
this
until later. And then
2024, him
in 2024 is John Krasinski. What are we talking about?
I'm like, who's checking for him? And then apparently there was like a blind item where he like paid them to give him because he's thirsty. I'm like, bro, it's okay. You're 10 minutes of fame.
That's fine.
It's over, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I saw a bunch of like items that were like, oh, like he was the third choice. He paid to be like Glenn said no, Pedro said no, like all these people said no. And they were like, okay, like who are we doing? Who are we doing? John Krasinski said, me, you know. So.
He didn't even really have anything come out this year because at first I was like, oh, like A Quiet Place Part 1 came out, but he's not in that. That's just Lupita Nyong'o and Joseph whatever Quinn. So it's like, what are we? No,
apparently,
he's not. That's
he's in that Jack Ryan. I don't know if it's Jack Ryan.
My parents love Jack
America.
Ryan.
It's definitely a parent show. But I'm like, again, who's watching that besides parents?
My parents. Yeah.
People buying the magazine, maybe.
I guess that's true.
Because
I'm surely not buying it.
No, I'll see the pictures online and I'll move on.
Right. I won't even look at it in real life. Pictures online. Let me see the cover.
The Michael B. Jordan one, I did buy. Let's not get that twisted. He looked good.
Yeah. Michael B. Jordan, I went through a period. But then after Creed, I'm like, that was it. That was
anything he's in, I'll tune in.
What else is he in? Besides
Chronicle. Well, I mean, I don't know about recently. He was in some.
No, he was in a lot of stuff like in the day.
He's about to be in a Ryan Coogler vampire movie.
Yes.
I did see that.
I'll be there for that.
I'll be tuned in for
sure.
Yeah.
He looks good. Okay, that's true.
That one's gonna be.
I'm like, you're right.
Nothing really out about that yet, but like in March,
there was like one little something. Yeah.
I think there was a trailer, but didn't really show anything, which was fine. I'm fine with that.
It just showed him, and I was like,
trailers are going too far these days, so I'm down to like keep it pretty.
Well, I feel like trailers these days. I'm like, okay, you just
showed the whole movie.
Showed me the whole movie.
Yeah.
So not that I was gonna go see it, but if I wanted to, I already know everything. Oh, I need to be more into movies, but we see. Maybe that's what I'll do during my self-imposed reading break. Well, not really. You see how many books I have on hold.
Yeah, true.
You gotta just pick and choose and just cut some of those. For
I'm about to return some that I already have checked out because
it'd be like that.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, we've gabbed enough.
For sure.
Rough out here. Yes.
Thank you so much, Savannah, for taking the time, spending this day with us and chatting with us. We loved having you on the Close Friends List pod. Thank you everyone for listening, and don't forget to subscribe and follow us wherever you listen to podcasts and on our social media. We love you. Bye.
Bye.